With just 12 days left in office and 62 days since Joe Biden was declared the winner of the 2020 election, President Trump has finally conceded the race to President-elect Biden. He did so late Thursday in a taped message from the White House, in which he also condemned Wednesday's Capitol Hill attacks, which he himself encouraged. Take a listen.
The demonstrators who infiltrated the Capitol have defiled the seat of American democracy. To those who engaged in the acts of violence and destruction, you do not represent our country. And to those who broke the law, you will pay. We have just been through an intense election and emotions are high, but now tempers must be cooled and calm restored. A new administration will be inaugurated on January 20th. My focus now turns to ensuring a smooth, orderly, and seamless transition of power.
Democratic Representative Dwight Evans of Pennsylvania joins me now from Philadelphia. Representative Evans, it's really great to have you on Quick Take today. I want to get your reaction to Trump's video message last night. He called for, quote, healing and reconciliation, yet we know that the attack on the Capitol came after he urged his angry protesters, supporters, to take action. What do you make of his message?
I make of his message, particularly about the healing, is extremely important. And the reality is we do have to move forward. We have to beat this virus. We have to get our economy moved. We have to work together. But yes, there has to be somebody or people who have to be accountable. And he obviously has to be accountable. And in my view, I've been one of the people who have said that we need to go back about impeachment, the 25th Amendment. We need to have some of those actions about accountability. So, yes, we must move forward. And I'm finally happy that he recognized what the voters recognized, as you said, 62 days ago. But the reality is that he has to be held accountable for his actions and what he has said. He sits in the most powerful position in the world. And the fact of the matter is he has strongly contributed to what happened this dreadful week.
Representative Evans, how do you move forward, but also hold him accountable through the process of impeachment? You yourself have said that you will be an original co-sponsor of an impeachment resolution. How are you guys going to get it done?
Well, you know, we can get it done like we normally do any part of our job and our responsibility. We are to go through, you know, he has rights like anybody else. You go through a deliberate process, and impeachment is only the process that basically makes a recommendation. The Senate actually has to decide if they agree with us or do not agree with us. But the fact is, he must be also held accountable. You know, it's great on his statement, but the fact of the matter is, for what happened this week in Washington, it was embarrassing to everybody. The fact that a Capitol Police Guard has died as a result of it. The Capitol Police Officer and 4 other people have now died. So it's clear that he has to be held responsible for that act. Very much that he talks about law and order. You know, you can't have duplicity when you talk about law and order.
What is your timeline here, though, Representative Evans? There's less than 2 weeks until President-elect Biden takes the oath of office and is sworn in as the 46th president of the United States. How do you get this done quickly?
You know, my theory is we can do what we want to do. We can add that sense of urgency. You know, the former governor of the state by the name of Governor Thornburgh always talked about the rule of law. And no one is above the rule of law. This is not partisanship. We must encourage and protect the rule of law. So the president would understand that. And the fact is, I have a job and an obligation because I'm hearing from my constituents who are outraged and concerned about the act that took place in Washington, D.C.
I wonder what the goal is, though, if it's very unlikely that the Senate would actually vote to convict the president.
Well, you know, the goal is what I said to you before. The goal is accountability. We all are accountable. We all take an oath. And I just took the oath as of last Sunday. And here I'm in the city where it all started in terms of the Constitution. And we adhere to that Constitution. And we adhere to the oath that I took as of last Sunday. So we just took the oath. We all understand it. We all are accountable. No one is above the law. So the issue is not ultimately what will happen, but the issue is that we will take the action that we should take. And I call on the fact that we go back immediately to Washington and start the action right away.
Your colleague, Representative Clyburn, just said that the House could impeach Trump in 6 to 7 days. Is that the timeline you're looking at?
Yes. Mr. Clyburn would know that morning, but he's the whip of the House, and I believe he knows and understands, and he knows what my feeling is. And I'm saying it to you, and I've said it to him and others, that we want to take this action because there has to be accountability. No one is above the law. And there cannot be two sides of justice.
The Representative Evans, I want to shift now to the economic recovery here. There are two stories really playing out when it comes to recovery here in the United States. One is the story that's playing out on the stock market, where we have another week of record highs. At the same time, we are seeing more people than ever visiting food pantries, people worried about where their next meal is going to come from, people out of work, millions of Americans right now. Now that Democrats control the House, the Senate, and the presidency, what is the first step in making sure that the economic recovery is equal to all Americans?
I think there's two aspects of it. To continue trying to beat the virus, and we must give the sense of certainty addressing that. And the other aspect, which we have an initiative since I sit on the Ways and Means Committee, infrastructure. We can move with an Infrastructure Act right away. We have a bill that we passed called House Resolution 2. We passed and it died in the Senate. We can move on that right away. We have that. We had a meeting among the Ways and Means Committee just this week. We talked on the Democratic side all among ourselves, and we can move on that. The fact that now that the Senate is in Democratic hands, there's no lag time. So for the sake of this economy, I'm going with what the chairman of the Federal Reserve said. We need to go big and we need to go bold. If we want to bring the kind of stability to this country, we need to ensure that I believe in following his recommendation.
Congressman, I want to end right now with thinking about over the last 36, 48 hours, what transpired on Wednesday. The difference between the way that these rioters were treated in the nation's capital versus people who were protesting as part of the Black Lives movement over the summer, Black Lives Matter movement over the summer. What did you see?
No, that's what's certainly unfortunate about this country. As a Black man, and the reality of it is, there needs to be where there is a sense of justice, and that's very important. And in my view, with just what we were just talking about this week with the rioting, that's more the reason why we have to hold the president accountable for his action of contributing. And that's why we can't use no excuse. We don't have enough time. We got to do what we have to do. We have to do our job. So in my view, we have to do our job there. We have to do a job on the economy. We got to pull things together. And we got to ask people that we still have the best country in the world, but we got to work it out. And what I'm saying is we got to take action on accountability. We got to move the economy. We have a lot of work to do. And for President-elect Biden and Vice President-elect Harris, we have to work together. We have to work with both of them, the House and the Senate. We got to pull together. We got to work around the clock if we have to, just to send a message about the virus, beating the virus, the economy, the accountability in terms of our democracy. Right. We can do all those things. We can do what we want to do.
Representative Evans, you spoke about holding the president accountable. I wonder how you plan or think these rioters should be held accountable. A member of law enforcement is now dead as a result of Wednesday's events. What should be the repercussions for the people who breached the Capitol?
Obviously, all of the law enforcement we have at the table need to use all of the tools to track down any individual who has participated in this process. In terms of the death of anybody like the Capitol police officer, the destruction of our beautiful locations where we had, which is open up to everybody in America. Those things didn't need to happen. They had a right to protest, but not to be destructive. That's the key, not to be destructive. That is not the way we are to be in this democracy, and we are to do things, but we don't be destructive towards human life or to the property in the Capitol. It's available and open to everybody. So I share with you that though it is a solemn moment, is a moment more of a reason why we need to pull together. And certainly I feel for the family of the police officer. And, the president talks about law and order. The fact of the matter, you have to have that across the board.
Representative Dwight Evans, thank you so much for your time this morning and for joining us on Quick Take. We appreciate it.
The biggest stories the moment they happen from around the globe. Subscribe to Bloomberg Quick Take now for insight in an instant.